On this important Red Table Talk,
911, what's your emergency?
Please, help me.
a popular cheerleader, an NFL star, or former gymnast, no one suspected what they were about to do.
It was just pure darkness that overtook me as I lied there, hearing the ringing in my ears, the blood pour out of the back of my neck.
I can't really explain it. It's hard to unless you go through it.
I couldn't handle the pressure anymore, and she had these pills in her mouth. I held her, and I was crying, and she was crying.
What people who survive their darkest days want you to know.
That was really powerful.
I don't remember the last time where all three of us have cried.
And the #1 place in America where people try to end their lives.
How did you talk people out of jumping?
And how this man has helped save them. Our special guests have a critical message for the table today, and we wanted to share their powerful testimonies to let those who are suffering know there is hope, and there's absolutely a way out of the darkness. Normally, we'd be doing our Christmas show, but this year's a tough one, and we wanted to reach out to the millions of people that are battling with emotional and mental issues. Because of this pandemic, within our immediate circle, we've seen just like a rise of anxiety,
loneliness,
Depression.
a lot of depression, a lot of people really not knowing how to manage,
Right.
isolation. So
Yeah.
much has just been coming to the surface.
I even know a couple of peers that have actually taken their lives.
Really?
And young,
Yeah.
like 16 to 21.
Yeah, it's been a huge rise in suicide.
Yeah.
It's really been a prominent subject this year.
You really, a lot of times, don't know the best way to help.
It's really hard. I'm hoping that today will be helpful for people who are really struggling, people who are on the edge. 20-year-old Emma has a really important story to share.
Emma was fun. She was very charismatic. She loved to dance. She was always a performer.
Emma appeared to have it all. Beauty, good grades, varsity cheerleader, well-liked. But all was not as it seemed.
I was always like super hard on myself with everything. Every little mistake I'd make, I would just be like, well, my life is pointless. Like, I don't even know why I'm alive. But no one could really tell because I would just put a mask on.
Emma was secretly struggling with severe depression and anxiety.
I didn't have a clue she was struggling. She hid it very well.
Not one sign ever, especially with somebody like her.
Emma suffered in silence for years, until one day.
If Emma was gone, then no one has to think about her anymore. No one has to worry about her anymore. She's gone, and that's it. I knew my dad had a gun, and I pulled the trigger. As I lied there, hearing the ringing in my ears, the blood pour out of the back of my neck, I could taste the gunpowder. The only thought going through my head was, oh my gosh, I do not want to die.
Oh my God, please hurry.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Please hurry, my daughter's shot herself. Please.
Okay.
Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Please help me, save her.
Okay, they're on their way, okay? Okay, what's your name?
My name is Chelsea.
Okay, can you tell where she shot herself at?
It looks like she shot herself in the neck.
In the neck?
Emma, please.
Okay, is she breathing?
Yes, ma'am, she's breathing. Emma, stay with me, baby girl, please. Please stay with me.
How old is she?
She's 16.
She's 16.
Oh, yes, she's kind of convulsing a little bit.
She's convulsing? She is breathing. They're almost there. They're on the way. Are you okay?
Since that night, she has been on a mission to use her painful experience to help others find hope. Emma's going to join us from Louisiana.
Hey, Emma!
Oh, wow, hi.
Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, thank you. That was very emotional. I need a minute. My goodness. What do you remember from that night?
I look back and I think back to the mental state that I was in, and that wasn't even me. It was just pure darkness that overtook me and just hopelessness. I can just remember being in that room, being all alone, just feeling so exhausted. So exhausted of putting up a front, putting on a facade, and feeling so ashamed of having these internal struggles because my life appeared to be perfect. You know, I was a varsity cheerleader. I made great grades. I had a great boyfriend. You know, my parents were still married. I had a great older brother who was my support system. You know, it seemed like I had a great future going for me, but internally, I didn't feel any of that. I was struggling with the fact of, I don't feel like I can share this with anyone because I don't want it to get thrown back in my face. You know, you try to express how you feel, but, you know, there's always those people that are wanting to make you feel bad, essentially, for the way you feel. I was severely ashamed, incredibly embarrassed of the way I was feeling.
I so understand what you mean by that wasn't even you. I relate to that. What do you think you've learned?
The biggest thing that I've taken away from it is just the pure self-awareness aspect. I didn't ever know where my emotions were stemming from. I didn't ever know why I was feeling a certain way. I was with a therapist for a full year after my attempt, and she really helped me process everything and gave me some tips and tricks to take with me. And the biggest thing that I use to this day is it's called evidence-based. And basically, when you're feeling a certain way or your mind is telling you something, you can basically break it down and be like, okay, what evidence do I have to make me believe that this is true? What evidence shows me that this is, you know, the way I should be feeling? And also with the anxiety factor, just simply breathing. It sounds so simple. It's so powerful. It really is.
You know, just breathing.
To
It
that
brings you back
center.
to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, mindfulness.
Kind of gives you a second to just step away from your thoughts and what's going on in that current moment.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps all over my body just saying that because I can reflect back to times, because it's inevitable. You know, you're never going to be rid of stressors. You're never going to be rid of fears. That's the reality of life. I've been able to self-soothe and self-cope.
I think self-soothing is the single most important thing you can learn how to do in life.
I really do believe that when we get into those tough spaces, that sometimes it can be even more tough for us if we're expecting for others to do something about how we're feeling.
Yeah, to make you feel better.
We had a experience 4 days ago. I was having extreme anxiety. I had to just go, I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
I had to just cocoon and like just be with myself for a moment.
Yes.
And that was so important because it would have been more intense if I was like looking to you to be like, no, help me. Like, and then when I was ready, open the cocoon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that self-soothing is a miracle worker.
Because when you're in that space, it's really hard, I would think, really hard for you to even describe what's going on.
There's shame, there's guilt, there's sadness, there's confusion. And then you don't even want to talk about it because you're like, I feel crazy.
Yes.
I feel crazy for feeling this way.
Yes.
And I don't want them to think I'm crazy, so I'm just going to not say anything.
And then it just gets compacted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a domino effect. It really is.
Emma, what were your injuries after shooting yourself?
A lot, to put it lightly. The bullet entered in through my neck, and it's actually severed my carotid artery. And it exited just barely missing the base of my skull. There was a lot of internal bleeding, and there was a blood clot that formed due to the internal bleeding pressing down on my spinal cord. When I was rushed to the hospital, they performed emergency surgery to put a stent in the carotid to repair that, but my brain had been without blood for all that time. So in that surgery, I did suffer several strokes. So I was completely paralyzed from the neck down, was wheelchair bound. Whenever I was discharged from the hospital, I actually didn't even get a chance to go home. I was immediately transported by ambulance because I couldn't move a limb to the inpatient rehab facility. And I lived there for approximately 3.5 months.
Wow.
Doctors gave Emma a 1% chance of ever walking again, and she wanted to share something with us.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. That is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Good for you, because I know that took a lot of work.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And more mental power than physical, because the body is purely controlled by the brain. And when you lose that connection from your brain to your body, it's like a nightmare, huge nightmare. So it's been a journey, to say the least.
What is a message that you would give to those who are struggling?
My best and biggest piece of advice is just to tell somebody, because if I had only just opened up and expressed what I was going through with no shame, no embarrassment, if I had only done that, it might have been a different outcome for me. I might have not had to suffer and struggle so deeply. And it sounds so simple, but truly from the bottom of my heart, I need people to just tell somebody, because it will save you.
I'd like to ask you just about your friends. Has your friend group changed? What is your support system looking like now?
Right when all this happened, my friends were there for me like no other time. And it really showed me, wow, these people really would have been there for me if I had just been honest and open about my feelings. So they really showed up for me. And I connected more with my family. But the support has always been there, you know, whether it was with my friends from high school, certainly with my parents, my brother.